Hello and welcome to this edition of Business Matters. On today's show, Southfield is the home to all types of businesses, with more and more coming to the area all the time. On this edition of Business Matters, we visit Nexus, a cloud computing business. We also meet Brendan Walsh, CEO of MSX International, who has moved into the Travelers Tower off of Evergreen Road. And we go to a new store with a unique brand, Detroit versus Everybody. Stay tuned for this and more on this edition of Business Matters. Nexus is a managed hosting company with wholly owned data centers located in Dearborn, Michigan and Southfield, Michigan, as well as several other locations worldwide. Founded in 2000 in Southfield, Nexus has expanded from a small company to a global leader in data center and IT services, operating data centers in the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, and the Netherlands. The company has more than doubled local employment in just 6 years, bringing high-tech jobs to the area and putting Southfield on the map as a destination for skilled IT workers.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of Nexus, I'd like to welcome everyone to our new facilities here. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. Nexus is very, very proud of our Southfield roots. We couldn't think of a better community to call home. From our employees to many of you in the business community, to our local leaders, and most importantly, our customers, we truly value the partnerships that we've created here.
Chris Wells, CEO, started Nexus over 16 years ago in his garage right here in Southfield. And since then, he has led the company on continued and sustained growth, all the while focusing on creating local partnerships and making Nexus a great place to work.
I want to start by saying thank you all for taking time out of your schedules to come see our new place, to come see what we're all about. We've got, obviously, our Nexus staff here, and for those folks who are on staff, I'd like to say a personal thank you and recognize them individually. We've also got folks, friends, neighbors from Southfield, from the Oakland County folks, obviously partners, vendors, family, clients. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. Our business is built on customer service. Companies worldwide rely on us, and failure is simply not an option. Our staff embraces this challenge daily. They're focused, they're dedicated, and they are really one of the best parts of being in the business, to be honest. So I want to personally thank all of our staff, every one of you. Thank you. Nexus is a global company. We service customers out of facilities in the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Netherlands, and we're going to keep pushing the boundaries globally. Think about this for a sec. 5 years ago, we employed 49 people in Michigan. Today, we're on track to employ 120 full-time, well-paid, highly skilled, highly in-demand employees right here in Southfield. We've increased the earning potential for these local employees. That means more money pumped back into the local economy. It also means a stable workforce for us as a company in Southfield. While this event is meant to showcase our facilities, none of this would have been possible without partnership. Partnership with Oakland County, partnership with the Southfield City folks, and the Southfield community. As an aside, for those who don't know, we own the building next door, we own this building, we own 2 more in the park, and we're continually expanding, it seems like, and we have plans to expand further. But the point is, it's all going to be right here. So today, as we make this big step, as Nexus makes this big step, I encourage you to check out our current facilities, right, next door, talk to our staff, check out our new facilities here, and definitely ask questions about what it is that we do and where we're going. Let us know if you have any questions at all, for that matter. And I hope to meet you all individually if I haven't already. And thank you again for coming. I really appreciate it.
Quite often I am called to cut a ribbon, but today is really, really special. It's because this is a company that started in a garage, as Chris has mentioned, and they've grown and grown and grown and developed into all of this space here, and will continue to grow. So it makes it very, very special because of where they've come from and their decision to stay here. We pride ourselves on being the center of it all and are very glad that Nexus has made that commitment to our community.
Southfield's Mayor Ken Siver seemed to have some other possibilities in mind for Nexus expansion in the future.
I've been trying to talk to Chris about these expansion plans. I have a huge basement that really you're going to outgrow this center. And I got 385 rooms that's 40 degrees all the time. Think about your electric bill over at Northland. We're looking for adaptive reuse, and you don't need daylight down there. So no, I'd really like to see you expand, whether it's here or there, but the offer still stands.
The mayor was also excited about Nexus' willingness to contribute to the city's public art exhibits.
And without hesitation, I came to Adam and said, could you get on board with this? And not a problem. And I really appreciate both of you for supporting our public art plan.
I lived in Southfield from 98 to 03, and I started the company in 2000. So it was happenstance at the time that we were in Southfield. My wife and I bought a house in 98, and so we were physically located here. It so happened that the internet infrastructure in Southfield was actually pretty good even back in those days. This again is around the .com bubble, 2000-ish, right? And so when we started, that was just kind of cresting and coming down. That left, though, in the ground fiber optic cable that these .coms installed during this late 90s, early 2000s time. So we didn't jump from my garage at the time to this facility. We had some stops along the way, but the infrastructure in Southfield, the physical infrastructure in the ground, the fiber optics, allowed Southfield to be one of the very few viable options for us in the Southeast Michigan area. So for that sole reason, we looked here. If you look at data centers in general, the building itself is a big expense, but beyond the building, often it's the fiber optic cabling in the ground, it's the connectivity, it's the resources, it's all of the local, support you can possibly get. And Southfield provided those for us, and it was one of few places in Michigan that could. So Nexus is a managed hosting company. We've been in business for 16 years. I describe it to my parents, who are in their 60s, as we're essentially the landlords of the internet. We own the buildings, the internet buildings, although we don't furnish the buildings, we provide the infrastructure behind the internet. When you think cloud, we're providing the physical metal behind what we call the cloud today. We're standing right next door to our building, which is a data center, which is where all the computers live. So there are currently about 3,000 machines in the building next door, which provide the power of the internet. So what we do not do is I'll call it the drapery of the internet. So what we do, you don't see. It's much like the plumbing, it's behind the walls. But it's the core infrastructure. So it's the physical computers, it's the bandwidth to the internet, it's the redundant power, it's everything that goes into making computer servers live on the internet, we do, except for the content itself. The internet at large is our client base. So it's not as if we've got to look at a radius, right? It's not about radii with us. It's about looking at the entire world and saying, how can we facilitate service to the entire world? And the nice thing about that is you have economies that are catching up in terms of being more modern. And so those folks are just now seeing internet for the first time and getting to learn all these things that maybe we knew about a decade ago. We do a lot of e-commerce hosting, meaning we have internet stores that we have inside our facility. Those stores are ones that all of us go to. And I'm surprised to this day when I go to a website to buy something and I happen to know that we host it, or I find out that we host it after the fact. It's always a giddy feeling. But these clients often have opportunities of their own. So for instance, many of our clients will get their one shot on a TV show like the Today Show, or they'll have a spot on some, not a sitcom, but on a talk show in the afternoon. And so that'll be their one time to put their product out there and have it be bought at large. And so we get these panic phone calls, typically a week ahead of time, right? Or days ahead of time, like, we're gonna be on this show this Tuesday, and can you help us? And so we're constantly trying to figure out ways to be able to scale. And we can always do it. It's a matter of, can we do it fast enough for the given client? And so it's always challenging, let's put it that way, because one of the big variables is, well, how much traffic are you going to generate? Because it's one of those guessing games. You're going to be on a national TV show. What does that mean in terms of actual input from the community at large, in terms of the internet community buying that product? And so it's been challenging in terms of having to gauge that. And we've learned over the years some mechanisms by which to help those clients in their time of most need, where they can get the most sales in the shortest amount of time. Beyond being compliant with many security standards, we have physical security barriers, technical security barriers. Essentially, every employee, contractor, vendor that enters the building is screened on some level. You're wearing badges right now, obviously. The point is to make sure that physically the servers are secure, that you can't touch them, and virtually they are secure. That is, if you can touch them virtually, but only to a point. So power is a massive concern of ours in terms of we need it all the time. And so we've gone through great lengths in terms of investment to make sure we do have power all the time. That constitutes having battery backup systems to the tune of multi-megawatts, and then diesel generators that back up those systems so that when power goes out at home, right, power probably goes out here as well in terms of our utility power. That said, power in and of itself is provided 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether it's generated here locally on premises or via the local utility. Again, our clients are worldwide. That is not Eastern time zone everywhere. So we get phone calls from the UK, from Australia, from Asia. Those phone calls go to Southfield, Michigan here. Our staff is always here available to deal with direct client issues, to deal with facility issues, to overall support our client base. We are 24/7 every day of the year. The growth has been steady and consistent. So we have gone from obviously just me in the beginning, that was 2000, had very little growth over the first 3 or 4 years as I figured out what it meant to be in business and found friends and partners and vendors and clients. After that though, we had a pretty steady growth clip from 06 till to today. Over the last 5 years, we've seen a growth from 45 to 50 employees straight up through this year. We're on track for 120 full-time employees in this area.
When I do this, I always do a countdown, and I want everybody to join, starting with 10, and we work our way down to 1 and clip. So, but I've learned I've got to get way in the, okay, so are you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go.
We focused a lot on me, and it's not about me. It's the people in the building, right? They're the ones ultimately that have done the work, that have allowed us to grow. Their expertise is individually, their hard work, their effort, their extra hours, their different perspectives. It's all about bringing that together, and we're here in these few buildings here in this business park in Southfield. Having us together has been a huge win in terms of being able to collaborate. And yes, we're on the internet, we can talk online, and that does work sometimes, but it's nice to be local, and it's nice to have all our folks right here to interact. Most rewarding aspect is honestly just coming to work and solving problems. It's going to sound cliched and maybe even untrue, but it's not. It's not. We're here to solve problems and to help people, and it's nice to go home thinking I helped somebody today, and they're happy, and I can come back tomorrow and help them again. So it's helping people, and it's solving problems, seriously.
Business Matters welcomes Southfield's newest retail outlet, the Detroit vs. Everybody store. This is their third operation, and Southfield is excited to have them here.
So this is a former property of St. Bede's, which sat vacant for some time. There was a controversial Walmart that was proposed to go in here, but City Council made a decision to open it up to a more retail that serves the community at large. So we're excited that they decided to go in this direction. We've got some great retail establishments that are here, local retail establishments, and that's who we really want to serve.
Owner Tommy Walker is a graphic designer by trade and a fashion designer. He sees the Detroit vs. Everybody brand as a way to dispel the stereotype that many people have about Detroit and the surrounding areas.
Well, being a native Detroiter, just seeing and traveling and seeing the stigma that was put on Detroit and seeing how inauthentic that it was. And Detroit is kind of an experience, it's a city you have to experience. It's not one that you can take for word of mouth, and most of the stereotypes are word of mouth, And at the time, I just, one of the things I always say is not to complain, but to contribute. So my contribution to changing that stereotype and showing the creative culture that is in Detroit and coming out of Detroit, I came up with Detroit versus Everybody. With me being a graphic designer by trade and a fashion designer, I wanted to use the medium that I was most familiar with to push a different message. Well, this is our fourth location. We have two locations in Greektown, downtown Detroit, and we have another in Eastern Market, Detroit. And we had a bunch of resellers that were out this area, which let me know that we had, people always ask us to come closer out to the suburbs, and this was like the perfect location. It's a lifestyle brand, so we sell t-shirts, hats, hoodies, we have pillows, crew necks, sweatpants, we have ladies yoga pants, we have children's clothing, we have, USBs and skull caps, anything that we can stamp Detroit versus Everybody on, phone cases, coffee mugs, cups, anything.
The location of the new Detroit versus Everybody store adds to the excitement already being generated by businesses that have located at the site of the former St. Bede's.
Yeah, so it's real exciting. We've got a nail salon that's here. There are some great people, so they're excited to have Detroit versus Everybody. We anticipate this store will bring in our population, obviously, in the local neighborhoods, but also outside of the community. So it's a great attraction for the city of Southfield.
First of all, that's my brother. Second of all, that's my business partner. From day one, since we've met, we've been together every day. It hasn't probably been a day that we haven't spoke to each other 4 or 5 times per day. And just happy that we're having some success together. Tommy is a great graphic designer by trade as far as, and also he's great at branding. I am more marketing. I have a strong Rolodex that I like to use to pull in favors, and I don't mind doing others favors, so we work hard. And our other partner, Sean Williams, he's a great asset to the business also because he handles all the business management of the business, so it works out fine.
On the first day of business, items were flying off the shelves, but patrons did have a few questions.
Somebody asked if we're going to make a Southfield versus Everybody, which it is in the plans. A couple of different colorways. In our Eastern Market store, we have Eastern Market shirts. In our Greektown store, we have Greektown shirts. So yeah, we'll definitely cater to the Southfield community.
To find out more about Detroit versus Everybody, you can go to DetroitVersusEverybody.com or stop in at one of their locations.
They can go to DetroitVersusEverybody.com and stop in any Detroit versus Everybody location, or they can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Tommy Walker, TLMMEY Walker LLC, and they can follow Detroit versus Everybody at Detroit versus Everybody LLC.
MSX International has relocated its North American Operations Center from Warren, Michigan to the Travelers Towers in Southfield. This new location is 30% larger, supporting company growth and allowing it to better serve and expand its client portfolio.
MSX International is a global business processing outsourcing company. We do 2 things. We work with car companies to improve the performance of their dealer networks, and we work with large companies globally to manage their contingent workforce. We are 6,000 employees globally, and we provide services in 80 countries. So we have offices in about 30 of them. I guess it was just about a year ago we came to Southfield. We had our North American operations are centered here in the Travelers Towers. We had previously been in Warren, so we were really excited to come over to Southfield.
MSXI has been pleased with the move and says Southfield's business community development has made the move a great experience.
They're wonderful. The Travelers Towers have just been a fantastic facility for us. It was a great upgrade. We really enjoyed working with the officials from Southfield who really made the move very pleasant for us. They've taken a lot of time to help us understand the amenities that we can take advantage of as being members of the business community in Southfield, and it's just been nothing but a fantastic experience for us.
MSXI was convening their North American operations team at the Southfield Public Library to provide them with an update on what's going on in the company.
They're going to get a chance to hear from our CEO, Fred Minturn, who's going to provide an update, and some of the other company leaders at a corporate level and in North America. So it's a nice chance to get people together. Great chance for them to see the facilities here in Southfield. And we're going to have a nice lunch afterwards with some Coney Islands and some other things. So people will have some fun. We're excited to be part of the business community here. We're excited to be part of, the Oakland County business community. We're experiencing a lot of growth right now, and that's really one of the main things that prompted our migration over here to Southfield. And so great days are ahead, and we're really happy to be here in Southfield.
The American Society of Employers recently held a Veterans and Individuals with Disabilities job fair in Southfield, targeting veterans and individuals with disabilities to get them jobs.
Today's event is a Veteran and Individuals with Disability job fair. We are targeting veterans and we're targeting individuals with disability to get them jobs. The individual with disability has the largest unemployment rate probably in the country and also in Michigan. So what we want to do is we have a lot of employers who are looking to hire, and veterans and individuals with disabilities are two of the great populations. They stay, they work hard, and they're grateful to have the job, which makes it better for the employer in terms of training, in terms of retention, in terms of productivity. Well, this is the 4th out of 5 years we've done this event here in Southfield. We've been working with Tim Workus and the Southfield Veteran Commission, and we also work with Mark Meadows when he was with the state, and now he is with the VA. And so the VA asked me to put this one on, and so that's how we began doing this again after we dropped last year. Some of our strongest supporters and the champions for this include Ford Motor Company, Roush. It also includes Myers, Lowe's, Walgreens, and all the companies that we have here currently today. Kelly Services has been really a proud group to work with because they've been doing resume review for all individuals coming in, and they help them also with interviewing issues. They help them get over the interviewing jitters. It's like doing this type of interview for the television, but worse because you're trying to get a job. We also have over here AAA, we have Eastern Michigan University, Ally Financial. They're all strong supporters. If you go into the back row, you're going to see various companies like Spicer Group, Hyundai America is back there. They all have strong veteran programs. Where the veteran issues are coming is really the returned citizens, what we would say. These are people who have criminal background, criminal records, and it's very hard for them to find jobs. The other group that's also difficult is the homeless veterans. And a lot of the companies out here are trying to do that help. And particularly if you talk to Myers, they have a program in Lansing where they have a 33% in the distribution center, 33% individuals with disability there. And these are visibly individuals with disabilities, as opposed to hidden disabilities, which are people like they have heart conditions or they have diabetes. And you got, DTE Energy is not here now, but Ford's doing it. It's in autism. They're trying to get individuals with autism jobs, and the type of jobs that would be really good for them, that allow them to be very productive and feel good about themselves.
Roush has a Veterans Initiative program that started a little over 2 years ago, and one aspect of what they do is hiring veterans.
So in that short time, we've brought on 237 veterans. Our managers really realize the value in hiring veterans and some of the skills that they've learned in the service. And in a lot of our cases, for some of our positions in the skilled trade side of the house, there's a direct translation from what they did in the military to what we can offer there at Roush. So hiring is one aspect. Another aspect is involvement with local, state, and federal veterans organizations. So we get involved here locally with the Veterans Community Action Team for Region 10. We also get involved with the Michigan Vets Affairs Agency and other organizations to help out veterans on a number of different issues. The third aspect of our program is finding ways for Roush to kind of give back. We like to give back to the community, and so I provide a veteran twist to it. So if there's a way from a philanthropic standpoint, either in-kind services or donations to veteran organizations, we find ways where that matches with our kind of core competencies. And then the fourth part of the program is providing an asset or a resource to our leadership and the veteran employees within Roush, any veteran concerns out there. So I consider it a great blessing to have this job. A lot of times they don't want to let you know they have a problem because they've kind of got the macho tough guy image, but they're still very capable and contributing members of society, and so they can assimilate into any work environment. So I think the tough thing is just first getting them to admit what they're struggling with personally, and then it's just human-to-human interaction. You just find out what their needs are, what their limitations are, and you try to work around that. And most companies are willing to do that as long as they know about the issues ahead of time. Probably one of our very first hires when we started our Veterans Initiatives program was a Marine. He had spent a little bit of time doing some junior engineer work, and he enlisted in the Marines for 6 years as an infantryman. We hired him on as a project manager, and since then he's been promoted to one of our senior program managers. Well, the biggest success story, if you've seen some of the commercials running around the Domino's pizza delivery vehicle, he managed that program. So it's always great to be able to highlight successes like that. We created a email address to make it really easy. Nobody's going to remember my name or my email address, but wehireveterans@roush.com. If you send me an email address, I'll send you back a standard email that I put together, and I have two different variants of it. One of it goes to colleges, either their career services or veteran organizations, and the second one is every single veteran that I talk to is the same format of an email, and it basically says, number one, thanks for your service. Number two, here's a little bit about Roush. Number three, here's a whole bunch of links to videos that show what we do in our company. And then most importantly, here's how you find jobs and apply for them at Roush. You know, I always use myself as an example, 22 years in the Army, never wrote a resume, and I only interviewed for 2 jobs. Both of those are very important when you're trying to find a job out there. So it's a tough transition they're making, and I'm glad to be a part of that and to help folks through it.
I have 28 years of service. Yeah, I am so excited to move on to the next chapter of my life. For the last 5 years, I've been doing human resource and personnel aspect. Prior to that, I was a military police and an operations sergeant major. Dow Chemical contacted me and told me about the event and asked me if I would be interested in attending. So I'm just kind of looking at what career fields are out there in different aspects right now. It's been wonderful. I mean, they're giving tips on resume building, ideas as far as interview process, dress attire for interviews. It's been great, very helpful.
I heard about the event down at the John Dingell VA Medical Center. They had flyers, and we knew about it for a couple weeks. And there's a lot of jobs here, and they're really helpful. And there's a lot of information here that could be used in the future. I'm currently doing housekeeping at the John Dingell VA Medical Center, and I would like to pursue that, or to try something new in the auto field maybe.
All these companies are very inclusive, and they want to hire individuals with disability. They want to hire veterans who otherwise wouldn't be able to get jobs. They do training, and they will train them into these jobs, and they will make them a success in the organization. When you're asking me what is it that you want to take away from here, is we want to take away that we're very inclusive. Our groups are inclusive. The companies are looking to hire. Don't be afraid not to come. Don't be afraid not to be here or to go to any of these job fairs, because if you're not here, you may not be able to get hired. And so that's a very important thing. But I want to say thank you to the City of Southfield, and thank you for all our sponsors and for the VA and for the Southfield Veteran Commission for helping us put this event on. If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the city, we wouldn't be able to do this year in, year out. And the city has been a very important participant in our events.
Well, that's it for this edition of Business Matters. To find out more about Southfield's business community, go to the city's website and navigate to the Business Development page. And to see more Cable 15 programs, go to our YouTube or Facebook pages. Thank you for watching.